Health Director at UConn Health Disparities Institute and Associate Professor of Psychiatry at UConn. Wizdom Powell is with us. Doctor, always great to have you part of these conversations. You open our minds and our hearts, and you always explain to us why it's important to keep learning and to keep asking questions. You know, the events that took place at our nation's capital 1 year ago today, they may be hard to still talk about with our kids. It was definitely hard then. It's still hard, but it's extremely important to keep talking about it anyway and to find the right way to approach it. So what have you been telling parents and teachers and even young kids yourself about how to have these conversations and just why we need to have them in the first place?
Well, first of all, it's such an honor to be here today to share in this important conversation. And what I've been telling parents and teachers is, first of all, that it's critical for us to tell children in age-appropriate ways the truth about what happened on January 6th. We have to avoid sharing revisionist historical descriptions of that day, because the truth is that a group of rioters stormed the Capitol, many of whom carried concealed weapons, and all who expressed, or some of who expressed, intentions to do bodily harm to members of Congress. That truth has to be told, swallowed, and metabolized if we're really going to climb the hills toward freedom, justice, and inequality. But I also tell parents and teachers that we need to be having conversations now about how to healthfully navigate injustice in productive ways. We have to remember that our children are likely negotiating complex emotions, including sadness, anxiety, anger, confusion, and depression. So we have to express an empathy for our children, especially now, who have been repeatedly exposed to upsetting news while being isolated during the pandemic.
You know, you bring a good point about the essence of the news, the essence of this story, just from the violence to the death to the videos that are out there. They're very disturbing. Even the cuss words, the racial epithets that we hear. I mean, it's painful, right? So how do you know what's appropriate to tell a child and what's not? I mean, I take it from the opinion that I need to tell my kids everything. I shouldn't shelter them because we're in a different time, and they need to know the realities of what we're faced with. But as a psychiatrist, am I going a little too far as a parent?
I don't think so. I think we know our children. The first thing that you mentioned, which is really, really important, is that there are developmental differences in children's capacity to understand, reflect on, and internalize news or upsetting, stories like this one. So the first thing is to recognize that younger children may require something different than children who are in adolescence or those children who are on the cusp of young adulthood. Younger children may need conversations that increase their sense of safety, that help them know that they're going to be okay in the world. They may also need more physical time with parents and family members. But adolescents who are being especially impacted by social media may need their parents to check in with them about what stories they're hearing, so that children and parents can separate fact from fiction. But importantly, across all age groups, it's important for parents to filter the news and understand the stories that children are, taking in from this day and as they move forward into future conversations. And all of those conversations need to be non-judgmental, right? We have to be speaking to the wounds of our children right now so that we can help them increase their sense of physical, psychological, and spiritual safety.
You bring up such a good point, because my kids are young. I have 10-year-old twins, and that was their concern. Am I safe? How do I know that's not going to happen to me? Will those people come to my home? And I never expected that they would feel that their secure environment, they would think it would be impacted by what we were seeing at the Capitol. That's such a good point to make. And, kids also may run into other kids or families, right, that have different political viewpoints. Look, I see it in my neighborhood. So how do teachers and parents tackle this with their children?
I think this is an important moment for us to teach our children about how we resolve political and ideological divisions, manufactured or otherwise. This is an important moment for us to remind our children that every, civil rights gain in our nation has been achieved, perhaps through advocacy, often, performed at the hands of youth. So we want to be cultivating that sense of advocacy and capacity to protest in helpful ways in our children because they're important features of a democracy. But more importantly, we need to be teaching our children the lessons that my mama taught me, which is to use our words, or in this case, use our vote when we're looking to resolve a difference.
Well, we definitely use our words, that's for sure. Wizdom, finally, you know, why do you think it's so important just to keep these conversations going, not just when it happens, right, but on a regular basis? Because we need to remember what happened. It's not as so much in the forefront of our minds, but it's still in our hearts. And on anniversaries like today, it comes up again, and you see all the video and the disturbing pictures and sounds. And so I know we need not to forget. So why is that? Why do we need to continue to remember? I guess we're remembering it in a different way, right, from being in the moment.
Well, elders in the village always have to be rememberers, right? It's our duty to leverage our privileges to ensure that not only do we act in ways that create new citizens of humanity, but that we help them to understand that why violent incidents like at January 6th happened in the first place. We need to be exploring and adopting restorative practices because they teach us about how important it is for us to guard democracy in helpful ways. If we don't do that kind of work, as we all know, we know that we will be creating a generation of children who will be civically disengaged. We need our youth to understand the power of their vote, to participate in democratic processes. We don't want to sort of grind that political sensibility into dust. So we have to remind them that good societies get built not by wallowing in manufactured divisions, but because and when citizens honor the humanity that connects us all.
We got to stay engaged. And what I tell my kids, you always got to care, no matter what. That's right.
That's right.
Our wise Dr. Wizdom Powell, always so good to talk to you. Thank you.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much. Take care.
You bet.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.